are there on Verified at 10 p.m. on NDTV. We will speak about actor Jacqueline Fernandez. Her troubles with the enforcement directorate continue. In fact, very harsh comments from the court about her. The court asking why hasn't she been arrested and was she a flight risk? Is the road ahead for Jacqueline Fernandez in the Sukesh Chandrasekhar case going to be much more tougher? We'll get you all the details. We'll also talk about, once again, the super censors. Those who have decided, have forced Vir Das, the comedian's show, which was supposed to happen in Bengaluru. It has been cancelled because few groups objected to it. What were their objections? And what has been Vir Das's reply? And why should we have these super censors deciding who should and what kind of comedy should people consume? We'll also talk about the exclusive details of the BJP's big plan to win Gujarat after they have released their first list of candidates. So stay tuned. I'll see you in the studio in just a short while. Good evening. Welcome to Verified on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. You know my top three leads today. Let me just mix it up and let me start with our top story. Once again, a comedian falling prey to the super censor, somebody's sentiments getting hurt. Vir Das, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, his show was cancelled in Bengaluru today. Let me very quickly take you to this story that we are tracking at this moment, what has happened as far as this entire controversy is concerned. Stand-up comic Vir Das was supposed to have a show in Bengaluru today, but the organisers were forced to cancel it after a right-wing group protested and said, once again, the very same old excuse. It hurt Hindu sentiments and presents India in bad light. I can't say anything more, but the joke, ladies and gentlemen, once again, is on us. Even before the show, even before they knew the content, they decided that Vir Das is going to hurt the sentiments of Hindus and will insult India. Now, Vir Das, in a very tongue-in-cheek response on Twitter, has put out a video in response to the cancellation. Take a look at what he has said, and then we'll move forward and tell you about what else is happening on this story.
This video is probably never going to make it on the internet ever. So basically what happens is a lot of times when a comedy show gets shut down, stuff happens, it's because people make assumptions about what happens at the show. And nobody ever checks with the audience what happened at the show. So, this is an audience that has just seen a show. Alright, now, I just want to clarify, you can say yes or no together and you listen. I have not paid anybody to do this. None of these people are under the influence of anything. None of these people are terrorists. None of these people are Pakistani agents. Pakistan can't even afford this many agents. If you're a woman, please make some noise. If you're a man, please make some noise. Did we target any specific religion here tonight? No! Did we target any specific government or leader here tonight? No! Did this show defame India or make you feel ashamed to be an Indian? No! Did this show make you proud to be an Indian? Yes!
That's the whole point. What we see, in the end, we have the right to decide. It's our right. It's our choice to decide what we want to watch, what we want to consume, what we like, what we don't like, what we want to reject. This is exactly what a few of the viewers, in fact, who wanted to watch Vir Das' show had also expressed. Listen in.
No, I'm still trying to figure it out. He said refund mil jayega. So I'm just like,
How much did you pay for the ticket?
we quit quite a bit. Yeah,
How much is it?
it's just quite a bit. Let's just keep it at that.
I mean, it was in the papers, and I'm pretty sure it's about all of the comments that he'd made, allegedly.
The content essentially that is there in the stand-up is not for the taste that is required for the Bangalore crowd, I guess. According to sources.
I mean, it's honestly really sad. It's a comedy show out of all the things. Why would you want to cancel that? True. I mean,
I mean, I guess it comes down to essentially how people perceive the freedom of speech here and how things are going to be taken by different parts of the community. So honestly, I have the privilege to not be so much affected by the thoughts and radical, movements or etc. For the lack of a better word, different agendas that are there. But at the end of the day, yeah, as a visitor, as a fan of Vir Das, and as the show being cancelled, it's just sad. We just came here with some hope to have a few laughs, have a good evening, and then move out for the weekend.
Bangalore traffic.
And in Bangalore.
How did you learn that it's cancelled?
We got a mail from Book My Show, and we saw it on Vir Das's Instagram.
Instant story.
Like, is it after you reached?
Yeah.
Sadly, we were on the way,
On
and
the
we
way.
saw it.
We were too busy navigating to the location. So when we reached, we were like, wait a second, cancelled.
Right. So you saw what the people, the fans, in fact, said about this. This is not the first time that Vir Das has been in trouble. In fact, there were a lot of, especially the fringe element, the right group elements, right-wing group elements, those who have been against him, specifically for the reason that a monologue that last year went viral, the Two India monologue, where he spoke about, the Delhi gang rape and among other things. Now, and this is also not the first time a show of this nature has been cancelled. A comedian show has been cancelled. In fact, Munawar Farooqi, and in fact, if I give you a few examples, ladies and gentlemen, he was arrested even before he cracked a joke. And I'm not kidding right now. Just take a look at all these, in fact, comic shows, comedian shows which were cancelled. Munawar Farooqi, I was talking about him, 2021, arrested in Indore, ladies and gentlemen, even before he cracked that joke, even before he could say his joke to the audience, he was arrested, accused of hurting the Hindu sentiments. At that point of time, he even spent some time in the prison. And since then, every time he tries to get onto the stage, several of his shows are in fact under pressure, are cancelled, or there are no people, those who are in fact booking him. It was, remember Kunal Kamra, September 2022, Gurugram, his show was cancelled because he's been seen as somebody who makes harsh comments against the government of India. His show was cancelled, people objected to it. He was attacked on social media for anti-government jokes, and even he has been in fact facing contempt charges over the Supreme comment on the Supreme Court as well. We're talking about other comedians as well. In fact, when some jokes were cracked, she received death threats over Shivaji jokes. And it was, in fact, a lot of hue and cry about it. There were police complaints registered. And other comedians, in fact, have been arrested for, it was Kiku Sharma, in fact, who was arrested for mimicking Dera Chief Ram Rahim. It was said that he, in fact, went ahead and disrespected, and it hurt the religious sentiments, communal harmony as well. AIB, their show, the comedy group, faced cases and threats over their roast show, which people said pushed the limits. So in India, it has not been an easy task, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to these comedians. So jokes are no laughing matter. Comedians are no laughing matter as far as our country is concerned. Let's quickly turn our focus to the other big story that I'm tracking this evening. Could it be some trouble for Ms. Jacqueline Fernandez? That's right. That's the question that we are asking, and specifically asking because of what happened in the court today. Some trouble ahead for actor Jacqueline Fernandez in the alleged money laundering case related to conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar. In fact, this after a court in Delhi pulled up the Enforcement Directorate for what it called a pick and choose policy in the case against the actor Jacqueline Fernandez. I'll just pull those visuals out and show you. This is Jacqueline Fernandez, in fact, walking in to the court for her hearing. The probe agency was asked why it hadn't arrested Jacqueline Fernandez yet, despite issuing a lookout notice when other accused in the case have been arrested. The case pertains an Enforcement Directorate investigation into dealings of Sukesh Chandrasekhar involving 200 crores rupees of extortion. Very quickly, let me also tell you that Jacqueline Fernandez had applied for a bail, and all these comments were in fact made by the court during the hearing of this bail. So let's very quickly tell you what specific comments did the court make as far as Jacqueline Fernandez is concerned over her case. So very, very sharp comments were made as far as Jacqueline Fernandez is concerned. Why pick and choose is what the judge said, and asked why Jacqueline Fernandez has not been arrested yet. Hearing the bail application of the actor in the, as I told you earlier, 200 crore money laundering case, a Delhi judge has warned the Enforcement Directorate not to implement their pick and choose policy, and the yardsticks, different yardsticks in this case. The court has also, in fact, judge has warned the Enforcement Directorate and has asked them, why did you not arrest Jacqueline Fernandez if there was an LOC, a letter, in fact, a lookout notice against her? All accused in this case are in jail. Why use different yardsticks for Jacqueline Fernandez? What has been the ED charges on Jacqueline Fernandez? Let's very quickly tell you about those charges as well. Fernandez aided Sukesh Chandrasekhar in money laundering is what the Enforcement Directorate has said. Fernandez received cash and gifts worth 7 crore rupees from conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar. Money was transferred to Fernandez family outside India. Fernandez, a Sri Lankan citizen, and the Enforcement Directorate also said that she might flee. She's a flight risk, and that also baffles you. Then why hasn't she been arrested? Apart from that, what is her defense? So far, she said that I'm a victim of Sukesh Chandrasekhar's con job. Sukesh impersonated an owner of Sun TV, nephew of the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, only got to know about the extortion from the cops after Sukesh Chandrasekhar was arrested. Didn't knowingly aid Sukesh Chandrasekhar in the money laundering case. That's what Jacqueline Fernandez has said. Let's shift focus to the other big political story that we are tracking at this moment. Gujarat elections, ladies and gentlemen, and the much awaited first list of the BJP has been announced for the upcoming Gujarat polls. 160 of 182 candidates have been named by the party, while the current Morbi MLA has been dropped. Turncoats like Hardik Patel have been given tickets by the party. The BJP has been ruthless in its candidate selection ahead of this prestige battle in the state of Gujarat. So, what are the big talking points as far as their first list is concerned? Let's very quickly decode those talking points for you with the help of these important, in fact, graphics that we have made for you, just to give you a sense, a very quick primer on what the BJP has done. Sitting MLA from Morbi has been dropped. He's a minister, and it's a clear repercussion of what has happened. The bridge collapse, in fact, incident in Morbi is the result of him being dropped. And the former MLA, who was seen as a hero, who jumped into the water and tried to save people, has been given the ticket. 38 MLAs have been denied tickets. 38 sitting MLAs have been dropped as far as the BJP is concerned. Now, Kantila Amritya, I was talking about him. He's the one who's getting the ticket from Morbi. Gujarat Chief Minister is going to contest from the Ghatlodiya seat. Ex-Congress leader, import from the Congress party, Hardik Patel, has been given the ticket despite a lot of opposition from the BJP cadre from Viramgam. Gujarat Home Minister Harsh Sanghavi is going to contest the ticket from Majura. BJP has, it's a surprise one by the way, the BJP has fielded cricketer Arvind Jadeja's wife from Jamnagar North. Names of candidates have been announced for 160 of 182 seats. Interestingly, 14 women candidates, 4 doctors, 4 PhDs in the first list of the BJP. It has also fielded 7 candidates, turncoats, who fought the election on the Congress ticket in 2017 and now will be on the BJP symbol in 2022. No tickets for relatives of sitting MPs and MLAs, and former Chief Ministers Vijay Rupani and Deputy Chief Minister put up a brave face and said, we have opted out of the race. All right, let's listen in quickly to what Raviva Jadeja, wife of Rajivendra Jadeja, cricketer Indian team, had to say about her being given the ticket.
मेरे साथ साथ जितने भी कार्यकर्ता भाइयों बहनों का आज चुनाव हुआ है उम्मीदवार के तौर पे, तो उनके लिए भी मैं बहुत हार्दिक शुभकामना उनको दे रही हूँ। साथ ही साथ में केंद्र का हमारा जो नेतृत्व संभाल रहे हैं हमारे माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी, अमित शाह साहब, जेपी नड्डा साहब, साथ पर साथ गुजरात का जो नेतृत्व, गुजरात की जो कमान संभाल रहे हैं भूपेंद्र पटेल साहब, CR पाटिल साहब, इवन जामनगर का जो हमारा संगठन का नेतृत्व है उनका मैं तहे दिल से आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ।
Right. So this is what Ravi Jadeja had to say after being given the ticket. But everybody is asking one question, right? You have given tickets, you have culled a lot of MLAs, many people have been dropped. You've completely cleaned up as far as the old BJP team was concerned in the cabinet as well. Well, what is the winning strategy for the BJP? 27 years in the state. What magic bullet do they have this time to make sure that they win the election? And the magic bullet, ladies and gentlemen, is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We have got exclusive details of the BJP's campaign. The entire strategy has been made around Prime Minister Narendra Modi's face. He is the Bharatiya Janata Party's banking on the Modi magic. What is the plan? Take a look. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address 25 rallies and road shows in Gujarat. The campaign of the Prime Minister is going to begin from November 17th, and the Prime Minister is expected to stay in Gujarat, station himself for 7 to 8 days. Prime Minister's campaign will cover about 150 constituencies. Bhupendra Patel will continue as the chief ministerial face. Jayaprakash Nadda, the BJP president, Rajnath Singh, Yogi Adityanath, the chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, Amit Shah, the home minister, all big guns will be in Gujarat to make sure that the BJP wins this prestige battle. It is a personal, in fact, a prestige battle for the Prime Minister, and it is an important milestone for the BJP ahead of the 2024 re-election bid of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. All right, now let's shift our focus to a very special story and a guest that we are bringing to you at this moment on Verified. Very quickly, let me introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Nabila Syed. Nabila Syed has scripted history by becoming the youngest member to get elected to Illinois General Assembly in the recently held US midterm elections. Nabila received 52.3% votes to defeat her Republican opponent Chris Boss. Sharing her excitement on Twitter, she posted a tweet, and since then this tweet has gone completely viral. Nabila introduced herself to the world writing, and I quote her here, "My name is Nabila Syed. I am a 23-year-old Muslim Indian American woman." Joining me now, Nabila Syed, at this moment. Nabila, thank you so much for joining us here. Congratulations on being elected as the state representative-elect, and welcome to NDTV. Thank you for being with us. I want to start by asking you, there has been this entire talk about the red wave which was building up before this election. It has been reduced to a ripple. By all polls and pundits, they predicted Republicans could win big. What changed? How did the Democrats change the tide?
I think the Democrats had the right messaging. They talked about the issues that mattered. Lots of people are concerned about the economy. They're concerned about our freedoms and protecting our rights. And that's what the Democrats talked about. But here in our district, lots of people said that an Indian woman wouldn't be able to win in this kind of Republican-held district. Many people said that, but we did what was most important. We went to people's doors, we knocked on them, we talked to them about what issues matter most to them, and we communicated our message. And you're right, that red wave across our entire country became a red ripple.
I just want to also understand from you, because I was reading and going through your post as well that you had put out. And a lot of people were commenting on the fact that, it's time for young people to step up. People were quite excited about a young representative that they have chosen. You've also specifically spoken about the abortion issue. In your post, you say that, you will fight for women's right for reproductive health care, and also about the young voters who came out and voted in large numbers for you. Was there a connect, and what kind of response did you get on all these issues?
I would say the response was fairly positive. Many people in this country are in favor of reproductive health care freedoms. And that's one of the issues that is close to home for me, is very, very important for me to be talking about. And I think young voters also believe that. And I believe young voters were very, very excited about this midterm election. They came out and voted in droves. And I believe that's why a big reason why the red wave was not as strong as everyone thought it would be is because young voters came out. And it's so important for me as a young woman, as a young Indian woman, to inspire other folks to believe that we have space in politics. We belong in politics. It doesn't necessarily just belong to other people. We came, my parents immigrated to this country. They came from Hyderabad, and it's important that we continue to represent, even in a place that is now our home.
Yeah. When Rishi Sunak became the Prime Minister of Great Britain, a lot of people in India were completely euphoric about that fact. There were celebrations. Did you also receive a lot of messages from back home India?
Yes, I did. And that has been one of the best feelings, to just get messages, WhatsApp messages from folks in India that are very inspired, and people saying that you're so inspiring. I feel like my daughter can run for office now. And it's very incredible and humbling to feel like this campaign has had an impact beyond just America.
I also would like to ask you, about the brave fight and the protests that are going on in Iran. Women there, in fact, spearheading these protests, facing the brutality of the regime there, pressing for their right to not wear a hijab. I also want to, in fact, put across a contrast in India, where a few months back there were protests where in one state, education institutions had banned people wearing hijab. As a practicing Muslim who wears a hijab, where do you stand on this?
So I want to make it very clear that me wearing a hijab was my choice. It was my decision. You cannot impose religion on anyone. You cannot force someone to wear a hijab, and you can't force someone to not wear a hijab. So I think in both of those cases, we should be giving these young women the right to choose. When it comes to reproductive freedoms, when it comes to wearing a hijab, I'm so lucky to have had that choice, and I choose every single day to wear a hijab and represent Muslims and be very proud of it. But I believe that choice is necessary, and oppression is entirely wrong.
Has there any moment or any incident being there in America, being a Muslim wearing a hijab? Have you ever felt, that you were discriminated upon, or did it ever, in fact, bring any doubts in your head when you ran for this office?
I will say people told me not to run because they said, Nabila, you're Indian. Nabila, you wear a hijab. You're visibly Muslim. Maybe you should let someone else run for the seat. And even when I went to high school here, it was not necessarily always easy. There was some bullying. There were some people that would call me some names. But I will say the response, considering how infrequent those interactions were, the positive response we have gotten has been so exciting from people in the community, from people across the country, from people across the world. So I will say that there has been a lot more good than bad.
There is a narrative and fear by some people about the current Indian regime not being sympathetic enough about the minorities in India. What's your viewpoint on that?
I want to make sure that people in India are not being discriminated against because of their religion. It is very important all across the world to make sure that religious discrimination is not happening. In America, we have the freedom for religion and the freedom from religion. So you could choose to exercise your religion, and you could choose not to exercise a religion at all. But I believe that people should not be discriminated and harmed because of their faith.
In the end, I just want to, ask you, it's quite exciting that you trace your roots in the largest democracy in the world, and now you are part of one of the oldest democracies in the world. What are the similarities and differences that you see between India and America and the way our democracies function?
I think I'm very, very grateful that, my parents can trace their roots back, and I can trace my roots back to the largest democracy in the world. And now here we are in America. And I think we need to continue to protect democracy. We need to make sure that people have access to voting. They're able to make their voices heard in the legislative process, and they're able to elect leaders that they believe will bring change, positive change to the communities.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you. All the best for your political future. It's just the beginning for you. 23-year-old Nabila Syed, congratulations and fantastic on the job and the work that you have done so far and the accomplishment of being the youngest, one of the youngest representatives in America. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been an honor.